Seal of Gudea, depicting him being led by Ningishzida, figure with snakes emerging from his shoulders. Ningishzida was a Mesopotamian deity of vegetation, the underworld, and sometimes war. Ningishzida, Mesopotamian dragon god and serpent god. But most importantly for the Elden Ring DLC is his name, which means
of Messmer's flame.
As you may have established by now, I believe I have found the in real life inspiration for Messmer. Everything fits perfectly with what we know of Messmer, but more importantly, this reveals a ton of mysteries regarding Messmer's history, banishment, and goals. Let me explain. When I first saw Messmer, he reminded me of Hermes. The spear with two snakes was super reminiscent of the Caduceus. You may have seen it before. It's even the main symbol on Messmer's sigil. But I have found that Hermes' symbol wasn't the first. We can read here, Ningishzida is the earliest known symbol of snakes twining around an axial rod. It predates the Caduceus of Hermes by more than a millennium. We can see here the symbol of Ningishzida. It's the same as the symbol of Messmer. So I researched Ningishzida and I was mesmerized. He matches perfectly with Messmer. He was a serpent god, a god of the underworld and war. He's always portrayed with two snakes emerging from his shoulders, and his role was known as the chair-bearer of the underworld. This perfectly aligns with Messmer, reminding us of Messmer's chair and his position in the underworld, as stated by Miyazaki. So it becomes clear now that this cannot be a coincidence. He is the inspiration for Messmer. But what does that reveal to us about Messmer and the DLC? First, we all thought that Messmer was using blasphemous symbols to mock the Golden Order. But this actually may not be the truth at all. He's not using blasphemous symbols. Those symbols are blasphemous because of him. He didn't embrace the serpent symbol like Rykard. He was always using it, as he is a serpent god himself. Another very important aspect of Ningishzida is him being a god of war. We know that Marika is Messmer's mother and that she ascended to godhood from the lands of shadow, and I believe that Messmer was her god of war, leading the battle to help his mother ascend to godhood. He was like Thor to Odin. Just like Godfrey led the battle against many foes, Messmer did the same, or maybe even they fought together. Another very speculated attribute of Messmer is his eyes. His eyes show effects of dragon communion, but if Ningishzida was a dragon god, this means that Messmer isn't just a practicer of dragon communion. He has a much deeper connection with the dragons. Let's read this part together. When pictured in human form, two serpent heads grow from his shoulders in addition to the human head, and he rides on a dragon. I don't think he will come riding a dragon, as it was already used for the Nameless King from Dark Souls 3. I think he probably can turn into dragon himself, which would be an awesome phase 2, to be honest. His inspiration was a dragon god that came riding a dragon, and Messmer is showing dragon eyes. This is not a coincidence. This got me thinking, what if Messmer was the first one to eat dragon hearts? We know that Marika had a huge war with the dragons to secure her place as a goddess. There was a whole faction named the Drake Knights. They used to hunt and eat dragon hearts. If Messmer was Marika's champion at one point, then he certainly clashed with the dragons. Also, Messmer's outfit is super reminiscent of the Drake Knight armor. Perhaps he was their leader, just like Godfrey led the Crucible Knights. But the important aspect of Ningishzida for us is his name. We can read here that it means Lord of the Good Tree, and in another translation, Lord who makes the trees grow right. This is huge. We know from Miyazaki's interview that the Erdtree was first planted in the Shadowlands. According to our discovery, Messmer may actually be the one that planted it for Marika. or he is the one that made it grow right. But what happened? He was clearly aligned with the Golden Order. As noted by many people, the serpent being a traitor means that at one point it was an ally. While looking into Messmer's sigil, I found this shape familiar. This is an ouroboros, not that one, this one. The head of the snake is removed from Messmer's sigil, so it wouldn't be so obvious. But what is the ouroboros? Serpents didn't always represent evil or the devil. It was a good symbol very far away in history, dating back to ancient Egypt. The ouroboros is a circular symbol that depicts a snake or a dragon devouring its own tail. It's used especially to represent the eternal cycle of destruction and rebirth. A snake or a dragon. It all fits perfectly with what we have established earlier. The sigil also have the symbol of Messmer's flame here. Things become much more logical now. Messmer believed that everything needed to die in order for it to live again. I think that when the Erdtree reached the end of its age of plenty, Messmer proposed an idea. Burn down the Erdtree and he will grow another tree instead of it. The cycle of life demands so. The tree needed to burn and die in order for another healthy one to grow in its place. Marika refused and considered it a blasphemy, so Messmer took it upon himself and tried to burn the Erdtree so the cycle of life may start. But he was stopped and banished to the lands of shadow. Marika then veiled the lands of shadow, erased Messmer from history, and the serpent was considered a traitor. We can see a painting of the Erdtree burning in the volcano manor. It may not be just the imagination of the painter after all. Miyazaki said that Messmer followed the same theme of being a hero. He thought he was doing the right thing, and maybe he was. But the real question is, what is he doing now? If Messmer has the ability to grow trees, then perhaps he is trying to do what he failed long ago. After the Erdtree was burned, it's the perfect moment to grow another tree in its place. To continue the cycle of destruction and rebirth, Messmer made the strangler tree to kill the Erdtree in order to grow a better one in its place. And I think Mikola is trying to make us stop him for some reason. This discovery shed so much light on various aspects of Messmer. Some of the conclusions here may not be 100% accurate, but the similarities between both characters cannot be denied. I want you to tell me what you think after hearing this new information about Messmer's real-life roots. This is a several-part series about Messmer, and in the second part we will go over his birth and father. Unfortunately, tracing the father of Ningishzida didn't bring me anywhere, so his birth and father cannot be explained with this discovery, but I think I may have a theory going. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Stay tuned for the next video. Until then, farewell. Filotarnished.